So first and foremost, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from around the globe. Thank you for coming to today's live stream. My name is Nicola. I am a recruitment officer at the Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering here at the University of Toronto. Today I have with me Professor Marcus Bussmann, the chair of the Mechanical Engineering Department, and Mema Uponi, a second-year student at the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Now, before we get into the content, and of course, before I let my panelists introduce themselves, I do have a few housekeeping protocols that I just want to let our participants know. So today, the emphasis of today's live stream is to showcase the mechanical engineering program. So please bear in mind that we won't be taking specific admission-based questions on screen. However, my colleague Jessica will be handling the chat and the Q&A feature available to our students as well. So if you do have any specific Q&A questions or specific admission-based questions, she'll be able to give you our contact information and also direct you to the correct resources that might be useful to you. Now, with that being said, we do have a Q&A feature associated with today's presentation. So if you do have any specific mechanical engineering questions about the program, about what it entails, all that kind of stuff, please feel free to put that in the Q&A feature, and Jessica will forward them to me as well. We have a set of questions prepped on our end, but if we do have some time, we'll try to jump back and forth in between the student questions and the pre-prepared questions as well. Now, without further ado, I'm really excited to get to talking with Professor Bussmann and Mema. So Professor Bussmann, if you can go ahead and introduce yourself first, and then Mema will jump to you for an introduction as well.
Sure. Well, listen, to all of you watching, welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm a professor of mechanical engineering here at the U of T. And in terms of introduction, I'm an expert at fluid mechanics and computational fluid mechanics, if that means anything to you. And in terms of what I teach a fluid mechanics course, which is core to third year. And coming up in January, I'll be teaching a computer programming course to first year students online.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Professor Bussmann. And Mema, if you don't mind introducing yourself, really, what year you're in and of course, what your focus is on with regards to mechanical engineering.
Yeah, okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Mema and I'm a second-year mechanical engineering student. I also do a business minor, and in my first year, I was in track 1.
Oh, great. Awesome. So if we do have any of those questions, that'll be really useful as well. So we'll start off with, I guess, a simple question or a hard question, depending on how you look at it. What is mechanical engineering? Professor Bussmann, if you don't mind starting, and Mema, if you want to add on really what it means to you as well, that would be great.
Sure. So I think, it's a broad field and really offers lots of opportunities. But, a short definition would be that it's really the study of how we design, how we build, and how we operate machines, if you like, right? So anything that moves. And so we're talking about robots, we're talking about airplanes and cars, we're talking about pumps and fans and compressors, any machine that you will find in an industrial setting, in society really, has a mechanical engineering component in it. And those machines, what do? They effectively enhance what we as people, as human beings are able to accomplish. And so it's really a very broad field with lots of applications.
Wonderful. Mema, if you want to add to that, and also specifically because you were a track 1 student, really what interests you in mechanical engineering at the end of your first year?
Yeah, so I know that mechanical engineering is all about design, and I'm really interested in design. I like art and I like being creative, and I thought mechanical engineering was the best way for me to apply that in a very industrial and technical space. So that kind of led me to mechanical engineering. Like, mechanical engineering was my first and only option, honestly. So track 1 was just like, let me just make sure that I know what I'm doing. And then mechanical engineering was my first choice. So it was definitely all about the design for me.
Awesome. That's great to hear as well. And now we do get questions from students quite a bit about mechatronics. What options do we have available to them? And does that fall under the realm of mechanical engineering?
So just let me take this on briefly. So mechatronics is the integration of electronics into machines. And of course, we do that. Almost all machines nowadays are mechatronics devices. And within the mechanical engineering curriculum, the first year is largely common with other engineering disciplines. Beyond that, the second year is core. There's a bunch of basic courses you take in mechanical. Once you get into third and fourth year, mechatronics, in fact, is one of the 5 streams that students can choose from to specialize in, with a bunch of courses on mechatronics. And it is easily the most popular of the 5 streams in the discipline.
Great, thank you so much. It's just a question we get quite often, so it's nice to let students know that, you know, it is available to our mechanical engineering students. Really a question for the both of you. What are some unique opportunities available to mechanical engineering students, both, I guess, from a professor side and from, of course, Mema, a student side as well?
I think I'll go first.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities available for mechanical engineering students just because our field is so broad and very hands-on. So mechanical engineering students are exposed to many design teams on campus that allow us to apply what we've been taught outside of the classroom. So for example, we have University of Toronto Robotics Association, of which I am a part of. And in my first year, I was in University of Toronto Aerospace team. So that was very hands-on and very involved with research and design aspects. And obviously you can make a lot of friends there. And then for mechanical engineering students, we have access to a makerspace lab, which is really cool. It has tools and 3D printers where you can easily design and create your own mechanism and other projects that you can engage in. And also mechanical engineering students, like other students, can engage in research over the summer with professors, which is one of the greatest opportunities we have because a lot of our professors are really interested in research and design and lots of other cool things. So you definitely have something to get involved with.
Awesome. Professor Busman, can you top that or can you add to that?
I cannot. That is a great answer, Mema. I will only say, boy, Mema said that really well. I will only say that I think what's really important about what Mema just said is that there is so much more to coming to the U of T and studying mechanical engineering than just taking courses, right? Mema talked about all the other opportunities. And those aren't just opportunities to have fun and to meet people. Those are opportunities to practice what you learn in your courses, to practice design, for example, as Mema said. So, you know, that's what we hope all students who come to the U of T or U of T engineering do, is come to take courses and learn what you have to learn, and then go off and practice what you're learning in the classes.
Wonderful. Thank you both. We have a question from actually a student here. Mem, it's specifically for you. Do you feel like track 1 helped you make your decision on mechanical engineering?
It definitely gave me more time to make my decision, and it definitely exposed me to courses that I may not have been so strong in. We were exposed to like different aspects of each department of engineering, and it kind of just made me realize that mechanical engineering and physics and math was something I was particularly good at. So mechanical engineering was definitely something that kind of stood out to me. And then other streams, like other programs also, I was exposed to other programs as well, but mechanical engineering was definitely the one that topped it for me.
Awesome. And again, a question for both of you from one of our participants as well. Would you consider U of T engineering more of a competition approach or a collaboration-based approach to your studies?
Do I answer?
Yeah, Mema, if you want to start off, yeah.
For me, it's definitely collaboration. I've not seen any, oh, I got first place, you got second. We don't do that here. So it's more about collaboration and learning together. And I think that's what makes a very good community here.
Awesome. Professor Busman, anything to add?
You know what? I'm glad that Mema just gave that answer. I'm glad it's collaborative, and I'm glad it's working together. I'll be honest with you. I think there are students who are competitive, and I think there's a place for that here too. And if you want to come, but I'm really glad to hear what Emma just said.
Hearing that from a student perspective is a great thing to hear as well, I can imagine. Of course. Do one of you mind, Mem, I don't know if you know it off the top of your head, or you, Professor Busman, the 5 areas of specialization in your upper years that fall under mechanical engineering? I have my view book here in case you can't remember all 5, but I'm wondering if either of you can list the 5 specializations.
Like a test, Mema. Do you know them?
I know there's mechatronics, biomedical, energy, solid mechanics.
Yeah, you got it.
Is that
and then
it?
there's manufacturing, right?
Manufacturing, yeah.
So I'll run through them. So it's bioengineering, energy and environment, manufacturing, mechatronics, and solid mechanics and design. Exactly. So we do have quite a few consistent questions from our participants. So we'll really focus on those questions for now, and then if we have time, we'll go back to our main questions here. What kind of mathematics are we looking to learn during your first year of U of T engineering?
For me
Yeah,
again.
do you remember, Mema, from
How would I know?
Okay, so we had calculus and algebra. So calculus was basically an extension of what we learned in high school. Definitely one of the tougher courses, I cannot lie, but it was definitely very applicable and very doable. So, like I said, we have a very collaborative and very familial community here. So it was definitely a course that we needed to ask questions and really interact with each other to succeed. But yeah, calculus is a concept that you need to learn to be successful as an engineer, and also linear algebra, which is can't really remember, but linear algebra is one of the one of the courses.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mema. I don't know, Mema, if you've enrolled or put interest in the PEY co-op opportunity, but we do have a question when it comes to how does the optional co-op program work for engineering, maybe specifically mechanical engineering, and what are some of the placements that students might have received? Mema, I don't know if you know specifically, or Professor Busman, if you have any knowledge about the co-op program yourself.
I'll throw that to Professor
All
Bussman.
right. So we have about, so the way it works, we call it a professional experience year or co-op year, is that I think almost always after third year, students have the option. It's not a required part of the program, but I would say about 3/4 of mechanical engineering students will do a PEY year. So after third year, whether you start in May as soon as school's out, or whether you start in September at the end of summer, you work for a year or up to 16 months with a company somewhere. Those companies are sometimes around Toronto, sometimes they're in Canada, and we certainly have companies around the world that hire our students as well. And as far as the kind of companies, well, I mean, it's the kind of companies that hire mechanical engineers. There are auto companies and auto parts companies. We have various manufacturing facilities that hire mechanical engineers. But I will say that and this might surprise you, but we have mechanical engineers who choose to take up jobs in the banking industry and the consulting industry and all kinds of other places where the students are working at things that they are able to do. I think mechanical engineering is a really broad discipline that provides you lots of options. And so I'm always surprised by where some of the PEY students have ended up.
I know a lot of the times we get questions about can mechanical engineering students get co-ops in aerospace or in aviation? And from my understanding, a lot of students do have that opportunity in their co-op and in their PEY years as well.
Yeah, I think it's just, if I may, it's important to point out that the way it works is the companies come to us with jobs and the students apply to them. And so it's important to realize that part of, of mechanical engineering at the U of T is a little bit competitive, right? You're competing with other students for a limited number of jobs, and you try to get the job that you want, right? We don't guarantee anyone just the one job that they would love to have.
Of course. Now, shifting gears a little bit away from specific, work opportunities to more research opportunities. Are there research opportunities available to current mechanical engineering students? Mema, I know you touched upon it a little bit with regards to, you did actually say that there are research opportunities. If you know a little bit more, do you mind discussing that? Or Professor Busman, if you, have any experience with that as well, we'd love to hear from you as well.
I can speak on that a little bit, but Professor Bussman has to add on. So we have the undergraduate summer research exchange and also summer research abroad, I believe, which is an elective course that you can choose to do in the summer, I think. And we also have professors, as I said, that engage in research. And I know a bunch of my friends actually did research in the past year after their first year, actually engaged in research. And we also have a competition or like a research day where you get to present your own research and what you've been working on as well. But I'll let Professor Bussman to add on to that.
Yeah, no, that was a great introduction. So I will only add that it's important to realize for all of you listening that that's what professors do. They do research, typically with grad students primarily, and they teach. And then when the opportunity arises, whether it's during the school term or whether it's in the summertime, we take on undergraduate students as well to help us with that research, right? And so there are about 40 mechanical engineering professors at the U of T. With expertise who do research into all kinds of crazy things. And we take on students, all of us take on students to work with us. And so usually in the summer, but sometimes during the term as well, as Mema said.
Awesome. Thank you both very much. I kind of wanted to shift gears a little bit in terms of the curriculum itself. Maybe from both of you. Mema, first for you, do you have like a favorite course or something that really, got you excited about mechanical engineering in your first year or in your second year, and something that you really enjoy about the curriculum?
Yeah, definitely. So, engineering strategies and practices is definitely one of my favorite courses that I took in first year, which is an introductory design course. We got to work on a project, like a design project, and we had to really implement our creative thinking and work together as a team. I really liked how we were slapped together with strangers, and we kind of became friends at the end and produced something that was very good, very design worthy, and very something that is a solution to something else. And in our second semester, we actually got to work with a client, which was really fun and really interesting. So we got to learn how to interact with clients, how to dress casually for jobs, and do all the other professional things. So that was a very good introductory course to design, and that kind of got me excited about mechanical engineering and really solidified my choice in mechanical engineering.
Wonderful. And Professor Busman, anything for you to add about what you love teaching, or some of your favorite courses or opportunities available around the curriculum?
Well, I won't tell you about one of my courses. I'll tell you about another course. So Mema talked about a course in first year. I'll tell you just briefly about a course in fourth year. So I don't even know the name of it. It's MIE 444. But right now in this fall term, and students are finding a way to do it remotely. There's a whole bunch of students building robots here at the U of T, and they're submitting designs to the instructing team that is running the course. Those robots are being built, and the students are then programming these robots to do certain tasks, and those programs are being embedded into the robots, and remotely the students are being able to run their robots and see how well they work. And I'm told it's a lot of work, but I'm also told that it's a blast right now for those students to kind of learn a little bit about robot design. And so that's a fourth year course, students who are just about done.
Wonderful. And it kind of leads me into my next question in terms of, can mechanical engineering students get jobs in software? Professor Busman, can you speak to that a little bit more about hardware versus software, and if those opportunities are available to mechanical engineering students?
Yeah, so I think I'll say two things. The answer is yes. Now, the only course I think that mechanical engineering undergrads take that is programming is actually a first year Python course that I will be part of the teaching team next term. But I've known lots of students over my 20 years at the U of T, mechanical engineering students who just really enjoyed programming. And so after a first course, they would learn more on their own. And I know lots of students who ultimately took up software kind of as a career, kind of when they were done. Now, that learning was largely done on their own. I mean, we don't have other courses, right? But there really is room to explore and to kind of follow the interests that you discover once you get here, right?
Yeah, for sure. That actually leads me to my next question in terms of minors and certificates available to students. Mema, are you by any chance just wondering, pursuing a minor or certificate, or interested in any engineering minors or certificates?
Yeah, I'm currently on my way to achieving the business minor. There's also a certificate which I'm really interested in, which is artificial intelligence. Just depends on how it fits into my schedule. But the business minor I know it's one of the most popular minors that mechanical engineering students take, and it's really exposes me to like business and entrepreneurship and all of that. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, we have a question specifically again for you, Mema. Again, might be a little early, but what careers or future steps are you planning to do after you graduate and with your mechanical engineering degree?
Um, okay, so my choice for doing mechanical engineering was mostly to work in design and manufacturing and things like that. I'm also kind of interested in robotics and artificial intelligence. So I'm thinking of a career in artificial intelligence, maybe agriculture, because that's a really big thing. Artificial intelligence in agriculture and in medical and like health. So that's something I've been very interested in for a while now. So hopefully a career in artificial intelligence or mechanical design. It's just something that has to do with design basically. And also something that I can apply my business skills, because that's why I'm doing a business minor.
Nice. jack of all trades, or a mema of all trades, as so if you know what you would like to get involved in with regards to research, what's the best way to get involved, with research beginning in first year? Mema, can you touch upon that? And then Professor Busman, if you have anything to add as well.
Yeah. So in first year, I specifically remember one of our professors saying at the end of the class, oh, so there's a research opportunity with me during the summer. If you're interested, just apply, and all we need is your transcript and all of that stuff. And some of my friends actually got that opportunity. And so I know that you have to interact with your professors a lot, and you have to show interest in the work that you're doing. So it's definitely, especially for first years, to interact with your professors and get to know your teaching assistants, and kind of get in touch with fourth years, basically networking and trying to find opportunities for yourself. I know that for sure for first years.
Yeah, and I would only add, it's a great answer. And I would only add that there are some first year students. I mean, Mema obviously knows some who are doing or did research over the summer. I think there will be many more second and third year students, though, who find those opportunities, simply because as professors, we're looking for students who also have taken a few more courses, have a little more experience. So it's more common after second and third year. But what Mema said about reaching out to profs and getting to know them a little is exactly right. I mean, these are opportunities that most of us as professors have for students, but you got to come and ask, right? It's a matter of reaching out to us, and if we're teaching a course, about getting to know us a little bit and asking about what we do and looking to see if there are opportunities.
I think that's a really big, quote unquote barrier for first year students, is to understand that their professors are people, right? It's that you want students to reach out to you, to ask you questions, to really, get invested and involved because of these opportunities that are available to them in their second, in their third, and in their fourth year of study, right?
Yes, Nicola, we are people.
Exactly. So Mema, back to you here. Do you know anything in terms of, if you can elaborate a little bit more upon the major and minors aspect? You mentioned the business minor and the AI certificate. What was the process for you getting involved in those courses? Did you have electives to choose from or anything like that?
Yeah, so mechanical engineering, again, one of the reasons I chose it, because we have a lot of space for electives. So we get space for electives in our second year and I believe fourth year. So that kind of gives you space to choose whatever elective you want. And when you're choosing your elective, you have to choose it according to your minor or according to the certificate you want to achieve. So on my part, it involved a lot of research. I knew from a start that I wanted to do business, and I kind of went on the U of T engineering website, and I searched for all the minors we had and all the certificates we have. A lot of options to choose from, a lot of interesting options to choose from. I wish I could divide myself into 8 people and just do everything. But yeah, so you have to do your own research, or you have to just go to the website and look through all the minors. I believe we have more than 8 or something. So the minors courses, they have their core requirements. So you just kind of have to put them into your elective spaces when you're choosing for electives in your second year. So that's what I can tell you for that.
That's great. Just to reiterate, yeah, we have roughly 21 engineering minors and certificates available to our students. So all that information is online. You can see specifically what minors we have and certificates, and really just get a good idea of outside of your main area of focus. If you're passionate about anything else, again, those opportunities are available to you. And as Mema said, business, artificial intelligence, environmental engineering, music performance, there's such a plethora of opportunities available. So definitely keep a look out on that. And it's a great to get involved in stuff outside of your just main area. Professor Busman, for you, I know we're running short, so this might be just our last question here. How big is the department? How many professors are under the mechanical engineering department?
So in fact, mechanical is within a department of mechanical and industrial engineering. So we have about 40 mechanical profs. It's a bigger program, and we have about 20 industrial profs. So 60 in total. And that makes it the second biggest department within engineering. So ECE is a little bigger, but in turn, Chem-Eng and Civil and a few other departments are a little bit smaller.
Awesome. Now we'll take a look and see if we do have any time for any more questions. We'll take a look at the chat here. I just kind of want to close things off with a personal question in terms of, what's your favorite part about being a member of this department? And then I'll pose it to each of you. Professor Busman, we can start with you, and Mema then with you. Just, what makes you proud about being in the mechanical engineering team?
I mean, I think the U of T and U of T engineering is a great place to come and study, but I think the reason it's a great place is the people who are there. And so I'm very fond of the professors we have in our department, the mechanical and the industrial professors. And I will say I love teaching because I get to interact with students like Mema. And it's, that's why professors do what we do, right? It's the chance to work in a place where where really passionate young people come to take courses and to study and to get excited about their lives. And it's a real privilege to work at a university like the U of T with the quality of students that we have.
It's wonderful. And Mema, anything to add from your personal student perspective as well?
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely the opportunities I've gotten and how I've grown as a person in my interests and in my career. I've definitely gotten exposed to a lot of things that has made me shift career paths or shift interests or develop interests and shift my career path as well. So it's definitely the opportunities and just the community here and the experience here that kind of just makes me feel like I'm going ahead and doing something with my life. Like just being amongst people who actually have good aspirations or who are high achievers and who are just really interested in making a difference in the world, which is something I really want to do as well. So just having this community and being a part of this community is truly amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Truly inspiring. Just me sitting here, I feel inspired already. The last question, I guess, is for me. Is there any specific way to watch this? Is it being recorded, anything like that? So we are recording this session, and we will have information posted as soon as our team gets to edit it and clean it up a little bit more. We will be posting this session online for students to watch it at a later date as well. Now, with that being said, I can't thank our panelists enough, Professor Busman and Mema, for taking the time out of their day to sit with us to answer these questions, and obviously, of course, help our attendees out a little bit more today. For everyone who joined us, thank you so much for joining us. Jessica, who was answering questions and feeding us some more questions, thank you for helping us out on the back end there. If you have any specific questions about any one of our programs or really anything to do, as I mentioned earlier, with admissions processes or anything like that, please feel free to email us at engineering@utoronto.ca, and we'd be more than happy to follow up and to, at the end of the day, help you figure out what you're looking forward to in your future years of study. With that being said, everyone, have a great day, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, stay safe, and we hope to see you next year as well. Thank you again to our panelists, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.